Hey everybody, Kellen Nitro here, and this is Nitro's take, my take of NXT Takeover Brooklyn Free that happened Saturday, August 19th on the WWE Network, emanating live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. It's NXT's WrestleMania, it's Triple H's Super Indie, it's everything that it's all cracked up to be, and then some. It's a wonderful 3 hours worth of entertainment, and this is my first opinions and impressions of it. The show opens with a live performance from Code Orange, which NXT had been using to promote NXT Takeover Brooklyn over the past weeks or so on the NXT television show on the WWE Network. And I think I could get used to this for at least a once-a-year deal, as bring in the band that you've been pushing over the past few weeks and that stuff. As for the band themselves, I kind of dug it. It was like Geddy Lee singing Chevelle lyrics, you know? It was kind of like a heavier 2000s version of Rush. You know, that might be a little blasphemous to say because I saw a lot of hatred towards them, but online and everything. But hey, they got a fan in me now. I'm going to check out their music for sure. Opening contest: Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano. This is Gargano's first singles match since first singles match on an NXT Takeover special. I almost said pay-per-view, but it's a special. Since the DIY split with Ciampa, and Cien Almas has recently aligned himself with Thea Trinidad's character Zelina Vega, and so it seems as though it's been kind of an attitude adjustment. Almas has been a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more deliberate, and man, this led to a great match. This match is up there within, in my opinion, the top 3 matches of the year that WWE has produced. If you're going to take Bate and Dunn from NXT TakeOver Chicago and put that at number 1, and the Cena Styles match from the Royal Rumble at number 2, this is up there at number 3, easily in that same class. What an opener. Just an incredible match. Guys that were working not too quickly at a pace, but just at the right spot, pace where fans could just breathe after each punch, after each kick, after each move. And the live crowd was jacked for the evening, and you could tell that just watching on the broadcast. Always helps when you announce teams into it too. I thought Morrow, Nigel, and Percy did a great job of conveying the match to us normal folk on television, you know. And yeah, I thought it was a great contest. Almas got the win by a rather unique way. The use of a DIY t-shirt was involved. If you haven't seen the match yet, go back on the network or wherever and catch the ending of this thing. The use of a DIY t-shirt, of course, kind of symbolizing that there's still unfinished business left with Gargano and Ciampa, but we all knew that anyway. And so I guess that's down the road a bit, but these two, this is interesting now. Because of that great match, I'd love to see a rematch between the two of them. If it's on NXT normal television or if it's on the next TakeOver show, I think it's got to happen. We definitely want to see this rematch between Almas and Gargano again, and up the stakes a bit, I think. Sanity versus Authors of Pain. Sanity walks out the new NXT Tag Team Champions in a bone crusher of a match. Had to laugh at the beginning though when the Authors of Pain came out. They decided for a TakeOver to ditch their all black kind of thug slash shield-esque attire that they were wearing and go with green for pants and mask. But the problem is the mask was kind of rounded on top, and if you've seen photos of it online or on the show tonight, it resembled a Ninja Turtle. That's about the best I can say. I would have nixed that. You know, the guys in green don't really, it doesn't do the same for me as it would in black. The black, just stay with the black and they're fine. If they wanted to add a little bit of silver in with the black, that would have been cool too, but green, not a great fit for them. The match itself was really unique. There was a unique spot very early on in the match where not Sawyer Fulton, sorry, Alexander Wolf got Sawyer Fulton on the brain for whatever reason, and Killian Dane were the two designated members of Sanity that started the match out. Wolf started the match and then got in trouble and needed to tag out. No, it was just I think a brawl or something. And there was a hot change in the middle where Eric Young just inserted himself on the apron instead of Killian Dane. Now, under the rules, especially under Freebird rules, I guess, and I had looked at this online after it was done, but you can do that if you have the three-man tag team working as a two-man unit. If it's just advertised on the contract as blah and not the two members versus two members, if it's just your team name, it's fine. So yeah, they can change on the fly all they want, so long as the second member hasn't made contact with anybody in the ring yet or anything. They haven't designated who their two are. They've just designated who's starting, so they've designated the first half, and so the second half. Anyways, it was mind-blowing, and I was calling shenanigans at first, but then I looked at it online and I saw that no, this was an instance that they have used before in certain angles. Not really any recent memories or excuses of it and that stuff, but or not excuses I should say, but anything overly recent. But there were three-man units in the 70s and 80s that would utilize that play all the time, so it was very interesting to see that out there. And like I said, the match itself was just a bone breaker. Nikki Cross is amazing. What a great talent. She got involved in it towards the end. As I said, Sanity walks out, the new NXT Tag Champs, and are immediately jumped by Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Red Dragon making an appearance, and, spoiler alert, it wouldn't be their only appearance of the evening. Should also add that they were bringing back NXT Alumni throughout the night in the pre-show and during the main show itself, showcasing great moments in NXT history and such. Kind of a theme of the event was they were bringing back some of the old talent just for quick pans in the audience and interviews backstage and such. During the tag title match, they brought back Corey Graves to do the commentary on that one. And then we got a rare treat for the next match for Aleister Black and Hideo Itami, where we had Mauro Ranallo and good old JR, Jim Ross, actually shared a commentary table for what I think might be the first time, definitely the first time on WWE TV. I'm not sure if it was the first time ever, if they've ever collaborated on anything outside of WWE or not. I'll have to take a look and see. But it was definitely a first on WWE television for sure to have those two share the announce table, and it actually went as well as you would expect it between the two of them. I thought they complemented each other great, so maybe a collaboration there in the future for more NXT cards. I don't know. Anyways, Aleister Black, Hideo Itami, that reminded me of an old K1 pay-per-view viewer's choice fight. That was just kicks and tons of kicks and even more kicks. And then when you were tired of kicks, there were more kicks. Itami getting more and more comfortable with that heel character of his and just shouting respect me throughout the entire night was absolutely one of the best things they could do with his character to resurrect it, because the babyface thing was getting him nowhere. Turning him heel, hey, thumbs up to that. It's been good for him, because we have enough Japanese faces on all the brands. I think right now we got to start getting some Japanese heels in there too to help complement some of the faces now and everything. So I think having Hideo work heel is a godsend for his career in WWE right now, because it didn't look good going into this year for sure, because man, it was like, okay, you gotta do something, bro. But yeah, the spring and the summer have been especially kind to him with his heel persona, so hey, keep it up. That's great. Black got the win with the Black Mass, and man, that kick is just an unreal finisher. So hey, kudos to him. Kudos to Hideo Itami. Great match all around. There was not a bad match at all tonight. It was just smooth sailing from front to back. Asuka putting her undefeated streak and a title on the line against Ember Moon. This match itself was probably the best match they've had, even better than the NXT Takeover Orlando one. I thought that it told a better story with Ember's shoulder, with Asuka actually looking human a few times there during the match, where it's like, oh, she might lose the belt here. This could happen, but Asuka walks out with the belt. Don't know what's next for Ember now. That's about the big question, is does she stay down there? Is there a third match? And if there is a third match, is it a stipulation of some sort, like maybe a loser leaves NXT, or is some other stipulation, maybe like an Iron Woman or something? Would definitely like to see a third match between the two of them. The problem is Asuka's won twice already, so I don't know if the third time would be the charm, or if they're just going to push Asuka along now in NXT with the belt. I don't think it's the time right now for Asuka to leave NXT at all. I don't see any spots on the main roster for her. I think maybe until like reassess it in January. I think she's cool throughout the summer, or end of summer now, into the fall, into winter with NXT. Book her for whatever the NXT Takeover will be in, where is it, Houston, for the Survivor Series coming up. I think it's Houston, I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, obviously. But yeah, I wouldn't be rushing to push her to the top roster, or the main roster. The same with Ember. I think Ember is doing well in NXT right now, so I wouldn't. There's not really a gap right now for a new female superstar on the Raw or the SmackDown roster, unless this unfortunate situation with Ric Flair takes a turn for the worst and we lose Charlotte for a few weeks. Then there might be that gap, but I mean, that's, you know, let's hope that doesn't happen. I'd just say status quo. Keep both of them down there and maybe book a third match. Let's see what happens. And of course, the main event, Bobby Roode, the NXT champion, walking into this match with Drew McIntyre. Entrances were really cool, as they always are in Brooklyn. They always go over the top with the entrances, which is neat. Drew McIntyre with the NYPD pipes and drums, which was really awesome. And then another great entrance with the keyboard hero and smoke machines and you name it, with Bobby Roode in a really Ric Flair-esque robe. Everybody got the Flair influence now, which is really cool. And another great match. It reminded me of watching, almost like watching a Flair Wyndham match from the 80s or something like that, just with the builds of the two guys and just the moves and the movesets and everything. It was just a good old school. It reminded me of an NWA championship match from the 80s, from the Crockett territory, is what it was. And it just was a really good, solid 30-minute match. You'd love to sit down and watch over and over again. 20-30-minute match, somewhere in that ballpark. And Drew McIntyre walked out with the championship. So we have a new NXT champion, but wait, Red Dragon comes to the ring, hangs out by the ring apron, and Drew's all like, "What are you doing here?" And then the crowd erupts, and Adam Cole, baby, shows up. I have some friends and fans of Nitromaniac TV that are huge Adam Cole fans, so they had to be just woo tonight. And guys, celebrate. It's great to see him get the chance now with NXT. And I guess we got our next world title feud between Drew McIntyre and Adam Cole. But the questions remain. Where does Roderick Strong fit in with all this? Is Bobby Roode getting called up to the main roster? And if he is, where does he go? Now, unlike the women's side, I think there's space for a couple of NXT guys after this weekend to go up to the main roster, should they need. I think that if they wanted to take Hideo Itami and put him on either Raw or SmackDown, they could do that now at this point. I think Bobby Roode as well, they could put him on Raw or SmackDown and could easily give them competition. I think there's room for just two right now. That's it. I don't think you want to do anything else. But I think that would be just enough to kind of keep the big or the fancy new guy angle, I guess you would say, kindled and rolling into the 2 September pay-per-views, which traditionally have been the start of the low point for WWE, like the dead part of the year going into Survivor Series. So, but anyways, that's my first take, my first impressions of NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3 that just concluded tonight. A very solid show. Was it as good as the previous 2 NXT Takeover Brooklyns? Well, the first one to me was a 10 out of 10. I've never experienced a night of wrestling like that in my life before on television or live or anything. The second one was a little lackluster in parts last year, but I thought it was okay in other parts. This one is definitely better than last year's card, so I'll give it a 9 out of 10 and say it's just right below the very first NXT Takeover Brooklyn as if I had to rank them. So it goes 1, 3, and 2. That's just my opinion. If you got one yourself, put it down below in the comment section. I'm Kellen Nitro. You can follow me on Twitter at Kellen Nitro, on Instagram at Kellen Nitro. I take lots of fancy pictures and stuff. And as well, if you are a drag racing fan, subscribe to my drag racing channel. You can do that by going to tinyurl.com/dragfiles, or to subscribe to this channel. Of course, hit the subscription button or pass the link around. tinyurl.com/Nitromaniac TV. Later days, and we got SummerSlam tomorrow night. Later, guys. And also, go check out the Southpaw Wrestling review on the channel, too. I had a lot of fun doing that one. Alright. Later, guys. See ya.